Have you ever noticed that when people are called out on doing something bad, how they always want to flip it immediately to change the focus on to the person who's accusing them of that? Now, I was reminded of that just recently with the media and how anyone who attacks the media for putting out fake news, the media then turns around and accuses that person of attacking free press or just attacking media. No, we're attacking fake news. Not just, you know, so you switch, so right off the bat they lie by saying you're attacking the media. And then they take it one step further and say, no, you're attacking free press. Now, again, I was reminded of this just recently because this is what media does, and I even did a video on this, discussing human traits. I'll put a link down below where I'm talking about this very same thing, how everybody wants to change the focus off ourselves. It seems like we learn that as a very young child when we get in trouble. If we do something bad, well, wait a second, little Jimmy, he was poking the cat with needles or something to try to get the focus off of us. Now, this happened to me just the other day when I was relaxing out by the pool. I took a book out by the pool and was reading the book, and I noticed this little baby in the pool that was in this little lifesaver thing that had a little raft in there, and it was crying for about 5 minutes, and the mother was trying to soothe it. But the mother wasn't even in the pool, it was on the side of the pool trying to, you know, make it not feel so bad about being in the water, apparently. But then she finally takes the baby out of the pool because it was crying the whole time. And she's right next to me, and she takes the shorts off this little baby, and the little baby's wearing a diaper. I couldn't believe it. And of course, she opens it up, and it had a bunch of poop in it. And I had to say something to her because 3 days prior to that, I just read an article about this cryptoparasite that's in pools that causes 50% of the outbreaks. And of course, the problem with this condition is it takes on average about 7 days for those symptoms to manifest, where you start cramping, you have headaches and vomiting and that kind of stuff, diarrhea. But it can happen as soon as 2 days. It may take as long as 10 days. So I proceeded to tell this woman how she was jeopardizing everybody, and she tried to twist it around and put it back on me, saying, "What's wrong with you? Why are you attacking me? No one else is complaining. No one else is seeing you change the diaper. No one else here just read an article 3 days ago about how you're putting everybody's health into jeopardy." So I told her immediately, and then she says, "Well, you're not even in the pool. Why do you care?" And of course, I told her right off the bat, I said, "Look, I'm connected to everyone out here. I don't want them to be sick. Not to mention, I don't want the pool to be closed down because of what you're doing." And again, she immediately had to flip it and turn it back on to me. So before I left, I went up to her and I said, "Look, you know, I know you know that I wasn't doing this to be mean, that I care about people, especially your little child. I hope your baby doesn't get sick because you put your baby at the highest risk, being right above where this stuff is coming out." And she goes, "Oh, I know, and I was, you know, when you said my baby, I became a mother, and I had to defend my baby." I go, "No, you didn't. You were defending yourself. It had nothing to do with your baby, but I understand how you're trying to rationalize what you did. But it's just part of, I guess, human nature that some people just have a hard time fessing up to making a mistake." And of course, the main point here is that the darn media just can't be trusted. Even alternative media can't be trusted. And what you're going to find is most of the alternative media, they're going to be trying to support one of our false beliefs that have to do with usury. Remember, every story that's associated with usury has got to be fabricated and changed and twisted and perverted so we don't look further into those stories. Some of the most important stories of last century have to do with usury. Think about that. Who do you think was the #1 threat to the powers that be in the 20th century? Who do you think was the #1 threat to usury? I'll give you a hint. This person is now the epitome of evil. Now, how did that come about? Isn't that amazing? We buy into that. We hear it so many times, over and over and over, and that's how you can tell someone's controlled opposition, because they fail that test. Every time they refer to this person as the epitome of evil, they're reinforcing this belief that we don't want to look further into this subject, which has to do with usury, the loaning of money at interest that makes us debt slaves. It's how the world works. That's why they went after Gaddafi. That's why Obama bombed 7 nations the whole time he was in office, because these nations didn't want to play the money game. When you don't play the money game, you're ostracized, you're demonized, you're attacked. I came, I conquered, or I came, I saw, I killed. That's what they did to Gaddafi. They destroyed his man-made river that should have been the eighth wonder of the world, turned a desert into an oasis, was proving to the world what you could do when you don't let someone else print your money. Everyone who does that is demonized by the powers that be. The masses are bombarded by so much bullshit that they're brain dead on these subjects and they don't look into it deeper. We have to understand the role that usury plays. We have to understand the role that every sector of human endeavor has in bombarding our brain with so much bullshit that we're brain dead on certain subjects, so we won't wake up to the ultimate tool of control, our health or our sickness, and the absolute tool of control, money or usury. Nothing wrong with glancing at what you see on mainstream media as long as you balance that out with alternative media, and then as long as you understand that alternative media is going to play Satan's secret weapon on you. They're going to put a bunch of references into that big book on usury. We've got a huge false belief on scarcity. We don't know we live on an abundant planet, and that's all because of usury. So controlled opposition, what they're doing is they're reinforcing that big book on usury. Every time you listen to certain people, controlled opposition, that are telling you good information that we need to know, they're always going to slip more pages in the book of usury so you won't study that concept and understand what it's doing to us. I'm telling you, my friends, the day we can understand the absolute tool of control and do away with it, and once we can understand the ultimate tool of control, being sick and doing something about that, is the day we wake up and we're all in for a treat.